Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Guys Talking About Shit podcast, commonly referred to as the GTAS podcast. Today's episode is being recorded on Saturday, April 7th, 2018. I'm your host, Bob Rusin, and I'm joined by my host, the always desecrated Adam Miller.
Hi.
Thanks, Adam. Adam, why don't you tell our listeners today what's going on? What's new with you? What have you been up to?
Working.
Working?
That's all I do.
That's all
we do normally.
Get that paper?
I guess. We stack moderate amounts of paper here.
All about that paper. All about that paper, boy. Paper boy. Paper boy. All about that paper, boy.
Yeah.
If you ain't making money, you ain't nothing but a hater, boy. I'm getting really into the show Atlanta, by the way. I was into it whenever it was first on, but I've just like been rewatching it, and it's just hilarious. So like that song gets like stuck in your head. There's just that paper boy, all about that paper boy. Adam, did you see you watch anything recently, or did you anything new besides working?
What did I rewatched the first season of Jessica Jones because my father-in-law was staying with me from England.
What did he think of that?
He liked it.
Is he a comic book reader? Or
he likes all the Marvel movies. He didn't even know that there was Marvel shit on Netflix.
Yeah, what did he think with David Tennant in there?
Yeah, I mean, he liked it. David Tennant's kind of, I don't want to say he's a national treasure, but he's pretty famous here, so he's pretty famous there.
People I think they've already given him like a Lifetime Achievement Award over there. They gave him like a...
Yeah, well, I mean, he does a lot of stage work.
Yeah, I think he was originally like a stage actor.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they gave him like pretty much it was a You're a National Treasure award. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the exact reasoning, but it was like
the Judi Dench award.
Yeah, they gave him like they gave him some sort of like
something
crazy award. But I'm like, man, he's not that old. I mean, he's already getting like an achievement award for his career.
Yeah.
But no, David Tennant's great. So what did you think rewatching it? Does this still hold up as a good show? Or I mean, I loved the first season of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think there were parts of it that I didn't remember, and watching it again, all the parts I didn't remember were the parts I didn't like.
Well, like what? what were you? The stuff with the police cop with Samson. Is that?
Yeah,
that was kind of not really my. That
Samson
I thought
was terrible. Simpson.
Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson was terrible, and when he shoots the cop that was also in The Wire. I'm like, you're done, buddy. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, yeah. I thought that was really weird because I was getting kind of iffy with the Netflix show because it seemed like they were bringing these characters, they were bringing in these black cops and then just killing them. Like they did the same thing with Ben Urich, who was a major character in the Daredevil comics. He was a major player in the first episode, and then he gets strangled by Wilson Fisk. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, Daredevil. And then they did Jessica Jones, and you're like, oh, is this going to be a reoccurring theme in these shows where they're just going to bring a really cool character from The Wire or something like that, and then they're just going to kill him off?
They did kill another character from The Wire in Luke Cage. The scientist that made Luke Cage.
You're right.
Was the lawyer in The Wire.
They
kill him.
He's Barksdale's attorney. Yeah. I completely... I didn't even recognize that. Mm-hmm. And then you just brought that up. Like, yeah, you're right. He was in that show.
Yeah.
Wasn't... What was her name? Is that Kuma or something like that?
Kima Griggs.
She's in a Netflix. Isn't she in...
She's in...
Defenders? Is she in Defenders or something? She's in one of them.
Yeah, she's in one of them.
I don't know. It's funny. They just keep... I wonder if some of the people from those Netflix shows are Wire people because they have brought a couple people.
You know what? There's some interesting stuff about all these Netflix series. There's a lot of crossover in actors. Like the guy who plays Turk in the Marvel series is also a deputy in Stranger Things.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not a really crazy thing. I mean, HBO I think would do it a lot of times. They'd have people from characters and they'd stick them in other HBO projects.
You don't normally see that stuff too much on broadcast television, I guess is what I'm saying. So, but nobody fucking watches broadcast television anymore because it's all shit.
Well, I was actually. What did you think? I don't want to go too much into this, but since we're just kind of bullshitting today, what did you think of Daredevil? I mean, Daredevil. My bad, everyone. Jessica Jones season 2. What did you think about that overall? Because I finished that a little bit ago.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I busted that out in I think 3 days. There was a lot of character development, but I think overall there was no climax in that season.
I was actually really disappointed with Jessica Jones season 2. Besides,
because it was all character development. Like there was no battle. There was no
battle, but the character development in it wasn't on characters that I give a shit about.
Yeah,
the show's not called.
They focused on the lawyer.
Yeah, they focused on Hogarth. They focused a lot on Trish and her room and Malcolm. But the show's not Jessica Jones and Friends.
Yeah. I'm okay. Like Malcolm's kind of a sidekick character, so I'm okay with developing him as a character. And Hogarth is important in all the Netflix series so far.
Yeah.
So
except
I'm okay
Daredevil. I think it's just Daredevil she hasn't appeared in.
No, yes, she did.
She was
Foggy Nelson works for her.
Oh, you're right.
No,
you're right. You are correct on that.
So let me ask you this: did you pick up anything about an upcoming character reveal at the end of Jessica Jones?
Are you talking about Hellcat?
Yeah.
Yeah. How she has now the reflexes.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I like the Trish character. I think
I don't. I think she's fucking insufferable.
She was insufferable in this season. I thought she was terrible in this season.
Nah, dude. I just rewatched season 1. She's fucking insufferable.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fault of the actress, or do you think it's just the character?
I think it's the writing, because it's not like with Finn Jones. You can tell it's not the writing; it's the acting.
Okay.
It's not that way with her.
Oh, I think the Iron Fist is both the writing and the casting.
I mean, the writing's not fantastic in Iron Fist, but I'm saying Finn Jones is not the actor to sell that script.
I'm going to say that I actually don't have a problem with the Trish character. I just, in this season with her going back into the battle of addiction, and I didn't get her motivation. Like, was this all just to be popular again? Like, hey, I'm going to find this? Or was it actually, like, I couldn't understand her logic in the show where she's like, I want to catch the criminal, but then there's a part of me that just wants to be high all the time, and then there's also part of me that wants to be popular again, and then there's part of me that I'm jealous of my husband or fiance because he's more popular than me, and like, oh well, I'm jealous of my sister and her powers. No, am I missing something?
Trish is just a piece of shit. Like she's delusional about herself being a good person.
Is that kind of what they're going with? Or is that just something you're kind of
that's just something
that
that's just something that I picked up.
That she's not a good person? That she's more like her mom than I think that they want?
Yeah, she doesn't want to be, but she's totally fucking is.
When she's on drugs, she's a terrible person. I think whenever she's...
I think that she's always concerned with getting herself into these things because she thinks that she's able to do something because she has a higher opinion of herself than
I just think I think she wants to be Jessica.
That's what I mean. She's not comfortable being herself.
Mm-hmm.
She's like... I want all these other things. She's like coveting all of everybody else's shit, like their powers and their status and all this other shit. And she's trying to get involved in stuff that she has no business being involved in because she has no fucking skills. Well, at least until the end of season 2 of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, it's hinted that she'll have more of like a Catwoman, Hellcat style reflexes, powers, or
I don't think she's and I don't know how they're going to bring that about, but if they follow the comic books at all, she literally marries like a demon.
Well, I don't think they're going to go in that route. I mean, because they're not even going into the fact that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are like hooked up anymore, because now Luke Cage's character is dating the Rosario Dawson nurse.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
I don't see that lasting.
No, I don't see it lasting. I think that they're in the Defenders. One of the best parts was whenever Luke Cage and Jessica Jones reoccurred with each other and started having like debates and conversations. I mean, the
Sunshine's there's a chemistry between those two characters.
There was also really good chemistry though with like Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Their dynamic together worked. That I thought was the saving grace of Defenders was Jessica Jones and Daredevil being, working off each other. I thought that was a great one. Another cool thing that Adam did that he's not mentioning is that Adam went and saw Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. I loved it.
You sent me it like, you're like, oh, what did you send me? You sent me something like, you sent me a text pretty late. You're like, I just saw Ready Player One. I think that it was really good. And you said the relationship was cheeseball.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah, the relationship was a little cheeseball.
The relationship in the book, obviously you can't flesh out a book like that. The relationship in the book is a lot, you start understanding why they kind of connect with each other a little bit better. But I thought the relationship in it was cute.
It wasn't terrible. Like,
no, there's a lot worse.
I think we talked on the phone, maybe.
I don't know.
I told you that like that Ready Player One to me, and I want you to take this in the best way possible.
Yeah, you texted this to me.
Ready Player One to me feels like Good Burger for this generation.
And my response was, I don't know how to take that, Adam.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Think about the formula of this. Like, they're trying to stop an evil corporation. Kids trying to stop an evil corporation. It's the same thing with, like, fucking...
Why don't you just call it Hey Arnold the movie for this generation?
Was that the same? I never saw Hey Arnold the movie. Sorry.
Yeah, Hey Arnold. Yeah, you didn't miss much, but go ahead.
But, like, just think about all those fucking movies from the 90s where, like, there's, like, 3 fucking kids going against this evil corporation that's not really that evil. They're just a normal corporation being a shitty corporation.
Yeah, yeah. They're not trying to take over the world. They're just trying to like, squash your business.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna stop this local business, or we're gonna
Mondo Burger.
Yeah, we're gonna purchase this local park and put up our corporate headquarters office. And the kids are like, no. That it felt like that to me, but in a really good way.
Okay.
So,
what did you think that the references were distracting at all? I thought that
I missed a ton of shit.
Yeah,
there was stuff that I'm like, I think I saw that, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna pay attention.
Did you see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Why they picked the Michael Bay ones?
Probably because the 3D assets were already done.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But why they picked those ones?
Battletoads, Sonic the Hedgehog. Pretty sure I saw E Honda at one point.
Yeah, I think he was in there. There was a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Firefly. There was it's not the Bebop. Was the Bebop in there?
I don't know. I didn't.
I know that they had his ship, his little Spike's little red ship. What the hell does he call that little thing?
Is it the Sparrow?
That might be the Sparrow. Here I'll look it up. Spike red ship. Pretty sure it is the Swordfish. Swordfish 2. That was in there. And then the whole the Gundam and the Iron Giant was really cool. Like
the Back to the Future 3. Oh no, that was 2, wasn't it?
What?
The main character's car.
Oh yeah. His was more decked. Yeah, his was more decked out.
It was missing the food processor, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they had the food processor. I mean, what did you think? Okay, I wanted to see, what were you, like, the whole beginning intro to the race scene? You realize that I was watching it and there's no music to it. It's just the racing and the noise and the destruction. Mm-hmm. What did you think about watching that first 15 minutes when he's, like, racing? I thought it was visually just gorgeous. I could not stop looking at it.
Was
like, all the little details.
There was a lot going on
the Bigfoot
screen,
truck.
But it was just enough where you could still, like, make out what was going on.
Yeah, it wasn't just...
It wasn't like a jumbled mess of fuck.
I think one of my favorite podcasters, John Campea, calls something like that where it's too much. He calls it visual noise. Mm-hmm. Where you just don't know what... It's just there and it's just hectic and there's no way to process it. Yeah. It's just visual noise.
Which is something that some of the Marvel films suffer from.
Sometimes. Yeah, I could see how sometimes it's visual noise. Like, it's not really needed. Mm-hmm. A lot of people would say that about, I'd say, like, Civil War. Like, there's so much shit going on, the action scenes, that, it's kind of like visual noise. Which, I'm going to be surprised if Infinity War doesn't do something like that, where that big battle scene's just going to be visual noise. Super excited, by the way. We got only, 3 weeks left till Infinity War? Not
27th, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, 20 days. Woo! I'm so excited. I got my Thursday. I'm kind of irritated because I had to get 3D IMAX. But real quick, before I'm just gonna throw this in there also before we start heading into our topics. Great news for me, I think, because I hate 3D movies. It seems that a lot of movie theaters are gonna be phasing out like the 3D screenings because it's dipped by like 17%.
Yeah, because nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I wanted to buy IMAX tickets for Infinity War, and the 2D screening completely sold out. The 3D one, plenty of seats left.
Yeah.
Like, they clearly all went to the 2D because no one wants to sit there with these fucking glasses on.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Hey, I know.
Do you know? Do you really know, Adam?
I've been wearing glasses my whole fucking life. If I take them off, I can't see shit.
Yeah, but you're not wearing fucking tinted glasses. It's even worse, though, because if you went and saw it in 3D, you have to put them on over your glasses.
That's why I never fucking go.
Yeah.
People are like, why don't you want to see 3D? I'm like...
3D's dumb.
No, I just don't want to argue about it. So I'm like, makes me sick.
This shit is dumb. That's dumb. So, everyone...
3D gives me a headache.
Yeah, well, it gives me a headache.
I mean, it gives me a headache from the fact that I have to fucking watch 3D. Not because the 3D gives me a headache.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But, okay, everyone, we got some great topics for you today, so let's dive right into them. Adam, first topic of the day, Spyro Trilogy, the remastered version that we were all talking about. I believe we talked about it maybe like back
one or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, not long while
Long time ago?
Right, this was right whenever I started doing all the cut-up segments, so I'd say probably around like 13.
Episode 13?
Yeah, this is maybe 2 months ago, where we talked about
Feels
how...
recent.
Yeah, it does, right? Well, time goes fast. We're already on our 20th podcast. We didn't even mention that we're on our 20th podcast. We've been doing this for 20 weeks now.
What is that? That's our bi-decennial?
Something like that. I don't know. I can't believe we have the fortitude to do at least 20 weeks worth of podcasts.
Yeah, it is bi-decennial. That would be 2 dec, which would be 10.
Sounds funny. But here we go. So, Adam, a while back we reported that there were kind of rumors and whispers going around that possibly Activision would be bringing the Spyro the Dragon trilogy after the massive success, which is an understatement. The Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy was a massive success for them. It probably did not cost them that much to do, and they made bank on that thing. But they finally leaked out I don't know if it was leaked. I believe it was leaked, and then they just said, fuck it, and we're going to release the official one. Yeah. But they released the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Is going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One on September 21st. Adam, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm excited. That's one of my wife's favorite games.
I was just going to say, wasn't Joanne like a huge Spyro fan?
Yeah, and I don't know. They haven't confirmed anything yet, but back when we were talking about it before, there was rumors that they were going to have... cut content from the original games that just wouldn't fit on the disc. They were going to put back into where they were supposed to be.
Well, here's some of the quotes that the developers at Activision had mentioned. They said that the Spyro Reignited Trilogy has been, these are in the quotes, remade from the ground up with improved environments, updated controls, brand new lighting, and recreated cinematics. The remaster will also feature a cast of characters that have been creatively reimagined with additional flair. Activision promises full analog stick support and smooth camera handling, and a reimagined version of composer Stuart Copeland's soundtrack. Fuck yeah. That soundtrack is amazing on that thing.
Yeah, it is.
So it's going to cost $39.99, which is exactly what the Insane Trilogy cost, and that is such a great... I think $40 is such a sweet spot
for 3 fucking games.
Yeah,
all 3 of them are classics.
Yeah, they are. And Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon they're great games, developed by Insomniac originally.
Yeah, and
since has Insomniac
been acquired by Activision.
Yeah,
well, the Spyro license anyway.
Yeah, but then Insomniac went on to do the Ratchet and Clank series. Did they also did the Resistance games? Did they not?
Yeah, they did.
They did, and
yeah.
So good job. I mean, the trailer looks really cool. It does look like, unlike with the Crash Bandicoot, I was kind of worried with it because I thought that Spyro, compared to Crash Bandicoot, because Spyro is more of an 3D kind of adventure style, while Crash Bandicoot is very linear in its gameplay where it just continues going straight. It seems that they added stuff to it.
A lot of detail.
Yeah, a lot. Well, not a lot of detail, but I mean like more enemies and more like shit to do. Unlike where Crash Bandicoot literally looked like they just put a nice cover over top of it and said, like, HD that shit up, but leave it exactly the same.
Yeah.
It seems like this one added more, like, bigger worlds and
well, here's the thing.
More characters.
You remember the Spyro games, right? Do you remember them vividly enough? Like,
yeah, vividly. I was more Crash, but yes.
If you put those games on a PlayStation 4 unchanged, but just graphically updated, they would feel empty as fuck.
Yes,
compared
that's what
to
I mean.
Everything else that's out. So that would that makes sense.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah, you kind of mentioned, you're kind of like on the same wavelength as I am here with that. Yeah, the games do feel empty when you play them now because you're just so used to these bigger games. So I think that with them scaling this up, I think that that's a really, really, really good idea. And I'm sure because the Crash and Saints Trilogy is going to go on the Switch, I'm sure that this will eventually get a port over to the Switch as well. I'm sure. Here, I'm going to throw this little, like, bit out at you. What do you think? For Smash Brothers, what's the probability? Would you say over or under 60% that we get either a Spyro or a Crash Bandicoot as a playable character in Smash Brothers? What do you think? Over or under 60%?
I'm going to say under 60%, probably around like 35%.
You think 35% the likelihood?
I mean, I think it's possible.
If you had to pick one of the two, which one do you think would be better?
Well, that's a little difficult.
I'm gonna say I think Crash. I think Crash would be a better.
I think Crash fits. Which one do I want more? I like Spyro more than Crash, so I would say Spyro. But which one fits the gameplay mechanics better? I would say Crash.
My thing is, I think you could do a carbon copy of Meta Knight's controls and apply it to Spyro. The way the way Meta Knight flies in Smash Brothers, I could totally see that being Spyro. No, you don't think so?
I don't know. I never really played Meta Knight that much.
Oh well, there's certain controls. I think that if you could probably slap the controls of Meta Knight onto Spyro and it would work really good. I think
just tweak them a little bit.
I'm just thinking because these characters are going over to the Switch, and a lot of people are speculating what characters could they possibly reveal because you know that they're going to add more characters.
I don't know that. I mean,
like
Nintendo's been doing well, but this is fucking Nintendo we're talking about here.
Yeah, but I think they already are because they're pretty much confirming that the Splatoon kids are in it.
Yeah, but that's.
I think they're gonna be like the Ice Climbers.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I know, but you just said that there's no. I don't know that they're adding characters when in the trailer they're showing new characters.
If they want me to buy a Smash Brothers game again, they're gonna have to put somebody in there that actually give a fuck about because I'm kind of bored with the Smash Brothers formula. I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, we talked that you're just not really into it anymore.
Yeah.
I still love the Smash Brothers games. I mean, it's okay, Adam. We know you suck at it.
They're not bad games. I'm just not interested in them anymore.
Yeah. You want something a little bit different, I think, from your Nintendo games.
Yeah, I kind of do. I think I just want something different from games in general. I don't play a lot of stuff that a lot of people play.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think both me and you are on that same idea that, yeah, we really don't play the most popular games, you know?
Yeah.
We just kind of play, like, what our weird little niche audience is all about.
Yeah.
So...
There's been several times where we got excited for games and then they came out and we're like, we're not so excited anymore. We just don't buy it.
Which, us?
Yeah, stuff like Destiny.
Oh, well, Destiny's all but dead at this point.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, like, I'll be psyched when I start seeing a little bit more gameplay for Division 2. And if they actually say, hey, we're going to fix this.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, we'll see. You know, like, if and the thing that sucks is if you're not on board for it, well, then I'm not on board for it. So what I need to do is I need to see shit and then convince you, hey, Adam, you're buying this. So we're playing it. I think at this point, though, if we can find any game that we'll play together, we'll almost
That's the problem is, like, the games that we like the most, even now, they're not multiplayer games.
They're not multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play that No Way Out, but I don't really want to pay for it. I'd rather, like, when they release that as a, like...
I don't have a problem paying for it. It's just, it's not high enough on my priority list for me to
I guess that's a better way to word
Yeah.
it. It's not that I don't want to pay for it, but yeah, it's like, I just...
There's so many more things above this game that I'm not going to
Yeah, and my list of games is just piled up beyond belief because recently I've just been, I think I might have mentioned it on the show, that I was gonna kind of like take a little bit of a break from games so that I can focus on binging a lot of Netflix shows that I really put on the back burner while I was going through all these other games.
Yeah.
And so right now it's just, there's so many games, but my hype is not the greatest. Like everyone keeps talking about God of War 4, which, you know, I'll play God of War 4, but I'm not like dying for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like,
I mean, I'm not.
I've played every God of War and I binged through those things. I don't put them down. I usually play them for like 5-6 hours at a time. But I don't know why. I'm just I don't know. I get kind of nervous that I'm getting a game fatigue again. I don't know if you remember, me and you might not have been the greatest friends whenever we did that. Not that me and Adam weren't ever like good friends.
We just didn't know each other.
We just didn't know each other very well. We worked. I think we didn't start becoming friends until like what, a year of you working there.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't know why I hung out with you. There was a reason why we hung out.
It was when they were moving the store, and they sent you over.
Yeah.
Help me do what I was doing. So we just started talking.
Oh yeah, we just started bullshitting. I'm like, oh, I don't.
I just didn't talk to anybody. I just went in, and I was like, "What do you need me to do?" And then I did it, and then I went home at the end of the night.
Yeah, and everyone like thought that you were weird, and then I thought you were weird too. And then I just talked to him like, oh, he just really fucking likes Metal Gear a lot. And I think right whenever you had talked about that, only like a few months prior, I had like just played Metal Gear Solid 4 and just was like all about it. No, it's weird. I don't know how we really like started hanging out, but either way, I'm kind of like lost track of what I was even talking about. What was I saying? I'm sorry, Adam.
The whole thing is like
game fatigue.
Yeah,
right around that time, around the like tail end of the Xbox 360 and PS3, I just kind of fell out of it and stopped giving a shit. And that's whenever I became really, really big into the retro craze because I needed something to I was already into it, but I needed something to kind of, I guess I need to go back to basics is what I needed to do. Mm-hmm. And it took a while because you were telling me get a PS4. I'm like, you remember how long it took me a while to get a PS4? Mm-hmm. Like, compared to most people. People were like, oh, Xbox One, PS4. I'm like, I don't care. I don't. What's that Nintendo console? Give me that. I had a Switch. I mean, I had a Wii U before I had a PS4.
So did I. But...
Well, it also came out a year ahead, but...
Yeah, I guess what I'm going to say is that the only reason I bought a PS4 so instantaneously is because there was a new Metal Gear game, and I wanted to play it on the best platform that it was intended to be played on.
But didn't it come out like 2 years or 3 years afterwards?
What, Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it day one anyways.
Oh, you bought it day one. I think it took me... I bought a used copy like I think like 8 months after it had come out. Like, I just was not excited for it. I just wasn't. I'm like, there's no good games. I'm not really into these games anymore. And I was worried that I was falling out of it. And I'm worried that I'm falling out of it now, but there are still games that I'm like, oh, I really want to play. Like, I still want to go through my Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm really excited for the Dragon Quest game coming out. Yeah. But like games like Ni no Kuni that I was really excited for, like I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It's just like a dry period in games where there's nothing that there's like mildly interesting things, but nothing stands out enough for you to get it. Like Far Cry 5 was like that for me. A lot of my friends are playing it right now, and I'm like, I don't care.
I just don't care either.
I played Far Cry 1, 2, and 4. I haven't touched any of the other ones. I'm not really that big of a fan.
You didn't play 3?
No.
I liked 3 a lot. 3 was cool. 3 was what got me into the Far Cry. Because I played Predator, and I was just like, on the 360, I really dug the first Far Cry. I like how they've just completely gone away from that. But it's funny what that game became because it was a very boring, plain old shooter where you just had like primate superpowers, just slinging people. Yeah, I hope that I'm not going. It's weird. It's like a not to underscore like to what's the word to undercut it. Maybe it's like it's almost like a depression with video games where you're just like I have no emotions to it right now.
Yeah,
I'm just empty on it.
That happens to me. I think one of the things that I've noticed that has made me actually play more games, oddly, is getting rid of some of my collection.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually a really good thing whenever you just get rid of it, get rid of the collection, because you remember me, I had about 400 some NES games.
Yeah,
and I was like, you know what?
I'm not touching any of these. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, and someone got me an emulator of it, and all the games are on there, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to just focus on one thing. And you know what? I worked on I sold almost all of my NES collection. I think I kept like Ghosts and Goblins and the Mario games and like Tetris or something like that. And I got rid of almost all of my rare ones, all of my good ones, and put it all towards getting my Super Nintendo collection. And I'll tell you right now, I'm so much happier looking at my Super Nintendo collection where it's at now than where I had half of the NES library. Because it's not that I love the NES. But I think Adam I think is a little more harsh towards it. But Adam, you believe that 75% of the games are garbage.
On the NES?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe 75%, but I do believe there's a lot of junk on there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nostalgia to it. But
I don't want to say it disparagingly. Like it's because of the limitations of the hardware. But I guess I'm just like a fucking snob where like if a game doesn't speak to me, within a certain period of time, I fucking throw it away, get it out of here.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think like I've gotten rid of a lot of my rare titles. Like I got rid of you're probably going to hate me for it, but I think I might have gotten rid of my Mega Man collections, my Mega Man Legends games. I got rid of my
PS1.
Yeah, got rid of my Misadventures of Trombone. Got rid of that. I got rid of my Suikoden collection. I got rid of my Einhander. But like, there's a relief of like, oh man, it's like, and I don't miss the games. I don't.
Yeah, that's the best part. Like I had like those big bookshelves that are in my house.
Yeah.
I had 2 big bookshelves filled entirely with games, and now I got about 4 shelves.
Oh, you limited it down that much, huh?
Yeah, like almost all my shit's gone.
Yeah, like I'm looking at
like I started putting books on my game shelf.
Yeah. Well,
just to fill the empty space.
Well, my room recently is a little bit different. I just I said, Adam, take a look at this now. This is the cleanest my room has ever looked because I got rid of a lot of clutter. I got rid of a lot of games. Got rid of a lot of shit that I just did not need. And there's something great about getting rid of some of that stuff and only just keeping the stuff that you like.
That's basically what I did. Is I got rid of everything that I had no emotional attachment to. Stuff that I just had for the value. Stuff that I had just for the curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
I got rid of. I'm done
it.
with the curiosity bullshit. Like, I don't need. Like, I got rid of my Dreamcast Skies of Arcadia, and I was like, oh, do I really want to get rid of my Dreamcast? And I'm like, bitch, come on. You're not going to play it on the Dreamcast. You have it on the GameCube right there. Play it on the GameCube. And so I have the Skies of Arcadia the
GameCube.
The GameCube version. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, Mega Man Legends, what are you going to... Like, dude, look, Mega Man Legends great, but the controls suck. You're never going to play it again. Okay, and I got rid of that. And, it's like, it's kind of tough. And so I'm only holding on to stuff that I really like or I have a real nostalgic, like, commitment to, like my Virtual Boy. My Virtual Boy games, I really love I love my Virtual Boy. And I actually don't have my Virtual Boy here. I have all my games, but not the Virtual Boy. It's at my mom's place. I left it there because I didn't have the spot for it. But yeah, there is something really crazy about like when you have the game fatigue and the relief of getting rid of just clutter.
Well, I was going to say, one of the problems that I had that I found myself having is that I had all these games and I would have 5 hours of free time and I would spend like an hour or 2 hours and like anxiety mode. I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to play.
Right? Dude,
I have stuff that's brand new and unsealed, and I'm not playing it for some reason because I'm worried about if I might want to play something else. Fucking get rid of that other shit. Play the game you just fucking bought, and decide if you want to keep that or not when you're done with it.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's. I mean, I've just kind of come to the fact that like I just keep my PS4 games. I don't get rid of my PS4 games, and but I've been getting.
I think it's our age. I mean, I'm almost 30 now.
Yeah. Well, so am I.
So
We're old as shit.
Yeah, I think that we're just growing out of it. I don't want to say that we're growing out of games, but I think we're growing out of like.
I think we're out of the collector phase.
Yeah.
Like as I said, I mean, you know me. The only collection I have that I care about is my Super Nintendo collection. That is the only one. I think as long as you've known me, that's the only one I've ever given a shit about. That's the only console that I really give a shit about. And I'm less than 40 away from having the whole thing done. U.S. market-wise. Yes. Yeah. U.S. region. And that's what I want. I want that collection, and that's it. I don't care. If someone said, hey, would you sell your whole collection for those last 40 titles? Yeah, probably. Because I'm happy just looking at that. I look at that, and that's an accomplishment. That took me years to do.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have that. And I have a cool little, I got all my amiibo. That's another thing that I don't like getting rid of. You know, I love my amiibo. I have them all there. Get to look at all the amiibo I've collected over the years. I look at all of my Super Nintendo games, and then all the random, memorabilia on the top of it. And so, yeah, I don't know. I hope that I'm not getting fatigued. But I just...
Well, I mean, I think like getting fatigued with playing games is normal in times like this. Because for me, it feels like there's a drought. It's a real drought. It feels like all the good games are coming in a few months. I mean, obviously we have Yakuza 6, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, but
coming out
that's
soon.
April. Wait, is that this month? 20th something?
I think it's at the end of the month or next month. And then there's nothing till September.
The only thing I think I'm gonna be happy for is maybe when they do the remaster of Hyrule Warriors. I know you're not a big fan of that game, but it was a game I
never really gave it a chance.
It was a game that I really liked, but I didn't really dive into. And I have Fire Emblem Warriors that I could just play, but then I'm like, well, then it would take away the luster of Hyrule Warriors because I'd just be playing one game and going on to the next one. So that's why I'm wondering, I'm in a weird space when it comes to these games. Because, yeah, there's nothing on the PlayStation 4 right now that I'm, really into playing. I might try to get back into Dragon Ball FighterZ because they're going to give Bardock a chance. But I don't know. It's just tough. And I think that it's something that does happen every once in a while, that you just kind of get this fatigue that games aren't your life. You have a life outside of the games, and you want to take care of that life, and you just start seeing that. Okay, I'm going to put the games aside for a moment.
Yeah.
But to its credit, I think there is something really cool about going back to the retro style of for example, my roommate. I don't think he's noticed, but I just got a brand new TV. And I posted on Snapchat. I said, how do I break in my new TV? And I'm literally playing E.T. on the 2600.
On your TV?
Yeah. That's the first thing. I got a brand new... I just got my tax refund. I bought a brand new 4K TV. And what is the first thing I played on it? Not a movie. Not a TV. Not like a TV show or anything like that. I played fucking E.T. And there's something about that is kind of interesting to me that I'm like, why is the one thing I wanted to play E.T.? Is that just odd or something?
Especially such a fucking piece of shit game.
Yeah, I mean, I just was like, this game's bad. The only reason why I played E.T. was because it's the only 2600 game I had at my house at the time. I went back to my house later this week and grabbed some more titles. I grabbed Adventure. I was actually shocked that I had Adventure because I only had one copy of Adventure. I have 6 copies of Asteroids, but one copy of Adventures.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think maybe that's what I need to do again, is just kind of get back to the roots and maybe pop on some Burger Time on the arcade machine and just kind of have fun with that.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to mellow out. Like, I think if you got rid of your fucking I will only buy things that are physical for some of the simpler games that are like $9 and $14, you don't need to fucking hunt down a physical copy for.
Yeah.
There's some fun shit that you can like. I was playing Iconoclast. I love that game. It's fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. It's like Castlevania if it had like more cartoonish graphics.
Yeah. Like there's just some that's the one thing I like about that's the one thing I really enjoy about Nintendo games. And I was sitting there like they just released the Kirby Star Allies.
Yeah.
And I love Kirby games. Kirby games are one of my favorite like series because of how mellowed out it is. It's just that it's $60 for a game that looks like it should have been on the 3DS. And I know that might be harsh criticism towards it. The game looks great, and the game looks so much fun to me, but it's $60, and it looks like it's a 3DS game. And that's one of the few titles, that's after my Super Nintendo collection, my DS collection is like my next favorite one that I have. Those games, to me, are just ones I would never get rid of.
The DS is a fucking amazing system.
Yeah, but and the reason why I would never get rid of my DS games is because they're all boxed. Yeah. I only buy them if I can get them with a box. I don't need a manual. I just want the plastic box.
Yeah.
So I do not own any 3DS games or DS games with that loose. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, you have that Final Fantasy." I'm like, "Yeah. It's a good game. Good thing I have it in the box because it's next to impossible to find without it now."
Yeah.
The one that is eluding me so hard is Supersonic Warriors 2, the Dragon Ball Z game.
Fuck, dude, I used to have that.
For the DS?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games on the Game Boy Advance, and I've been trying to track down a copy of it, but it's like a $30 game now, and it's hard to track down with the box. So maybe I'll eventually knock that on off my bucket list. Apparently, though, there's a kind of default save feature that there's no way to erase save features.
Or a save file.
Yeah, there's no way to erase it or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why I don't have it anymore.
That's stupid. So it sucks to have another person's copy. But here's another. So we almost just created a whole topic on game fatigue right there.
Yeah.
But here, Adam, here's a game coming out that might actually reinvigorate my my gaming interest, which is this new Spider-Man game coming out exclusively for the PlayStation that they just released the release date of September 7th.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Are you excited for this game or?
Dude, fuck yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like. Well, let me just give you some backstory. I love Spider-Man on the N64 and PS1. I'm one of the few people that like Spider-Man 2 Intro Electro.
No. I like both of those games.
A lot of people hate the second one.
Why do they hate the second one?
I don't know. I couldn't.
I didn't know that was a popular opinion, but I thought it just played very much like I loved the first one with the whole like Carnage.
Yeah, oh my God, that game was so good.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's a really good game.
Obviously, Spider-Man 2, the movie game, was weirdly one of the best movie games of all time.
I remember renting that at my Blockbuster and getting it on the original Xbox.
Yeah. And
I believe that's what I have it on now.
Ultimate Spider-Man was the last really good Spider-Man game.
Yeah. I didn't think Ultimate Spider-Man was as good as Spider-Man 2.
Fuck off.
Wow.
No,
it didn't feel as open world.
Here's why. I don't know why you feel that way, because it's literally the exact same map and almost identical in terms of gameplay and story.
Then maybe it was the swinging mechanic.
It's literally copy and paste. The only difference is you can play as Venom in Ultimate Spider-Man.
I know, and I agree. That's awesome.
It's literally a fucking identical
game.
And I don't know how you could like.
I don't dislike it. I just like Spider-Man. I guess there's a nostalgia from Spider-Man 2 a little bit.
Maybe.
I mean, we were talking about it once on an older podcast. I was swooning over Spider-Man 2, Ultimate Spider-Man. So
in my opinion,
so fuck off on the fact that you think I don't like it just because I think Spider-Man. It's like, you know, it's like if one's an A, the other one's an A minus. They're both A's. It doesn't mean anything.
All right.
Or if one's a 7.5, I think the other one's maybe an 8. Do you see what I'm saying here? It's not that big of a difference.
I thought that there was a big difference, and I was about to fight you over.
No, because I think the graphics are incredible, and the voice acting is bomb. I think the voice acting in that game is so good. I
haven't touched a Spider-Man game since.
Well, that's a shame because Web of Shadows was really good.
You keep saying that. I've been tempted to buy Spider-Man games multiple times, and I just turn them down every time.
Yeah, they're definitely serviceable. I thought Web of Shadows was really good. There's another Shattered Dimensions, the one I did not play, but I heard that one's really good too. This one seems very different because talk about Insomniac Studios again. Yeah. This is who's making it, correct? Yes. And I thought that was kind of weird because Insomniac Studios is the one who's really well known for making creative weaponry in their games, and with Spider-Man, you're just limited to spiders, like spider powers. So I kind of thought that was a little bit different for them.
He's got other shit than just swinging from webs.
Well, yeah,
tying people up, web ball, web shield.
Yeah, if they're gonna do that,
I expect this to be like the open world Spider-Man 2, but with maybe like move sets like from the PS1 Spider-Man.
I was thinking movesets it looks like more like Arkham style.
Well, no, the combat's definitely gonna be that way. I'm talking about the actual moves that you can do. You
mean like how it had like the bomb and the web, like that type of? Okay, I see what you're saying. Now my thing is, I am excited for a good Spider-Man game. Obviously, why would I not want a good Spider-Man game? That'd be an idiotic thing to say. But I'm keeping my expectations to a minimum because the one thing people won't stop talking about how great the game looks and how good the gameplay looks. I am a little nervous about the overusage of the action cutscenes.
Yeah.
And the QuickTime event looking things.
I'm also really going to say I'm not super thrilled about the choice of villain. He just seems lame unless it's like one of the multiple villains you go against.
That's what I'm thinking. Like all the other Spider-Mans always seem to have like multiple villains peppered in there.
Yeah. I'm just going to be upset if it's this fucking guy that I never heard of.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm all about...
I'm sure other people are like, I'm tired of going up against Rhino and Dr. Octopus. Like...
Well, to be honest, I kind of feel their sympathy. I cannot 100% confirm this or not, obviously. But I remember in the Arkham Knight game, they created, or at least brought to my attention, a character called Professor Pig.
Yeah.
And holy shit, is that a disturbing ass fucking villain?
Yeah, he's in the Gotham TV series.
Yes, and and I don't think the Gotham series was around when this happened. This Professor Pig.
I don't think he was in the Gotham series at that time. No. The Gotham series was around.
Yeah, he was.
He's a season 3.
Okay, he's definitely he is a character from the comics. Mm-hmm. He is. But man, he was not well known on my radar, and I consider myself a very big Batman fan.
Yeah.
Like, hold on.
Most people don't know about fucking Calendar Man either.
Oh, I know Calendar Man. I know Calendar Man a lot. Give me a second here, because I got my my comic book collection right here. Hold on. I want to see if it comes up.
Fucking nerd.
Well, shut up. I'm going to pull out. All right. I don't know how I'm sounding here. Hopefully that doesn't go all over the place.
That's going to fall.
Oh, all right. All right. Only Batman fell. Hopefully that. Okay. Let me
just take that. Just take that. Yeah, take that off the top.
Take the big book here.
Yeah, shove it where the other book was.
There we go. That's better. All right.
All right.
All right. I'm back. So, my DC Comics encyclopedia, because I wasn't bad enough. Okay, let's see. Let's see how big of a page like someone like Professor Pig comes up here, because I was not aware of Professor Pig, and the game brought this character to life. I
brought him to your attention.
Yeah,
is he even in there?
He is not right now. Let me go into the index here. I'm hoping. I mean, this is pretty updated. This is maybe like 8 years old. So I mean, don't quote me on it. Professor Zoom, Professor Ivo, no.
Not even in the DC Encyclopedia.
Yes. So let's
he doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah. He's probably a new 52 character. In this timeline, Professor is reintroduced. Nah, like, okay, so let's just say he wasn't really well known. Mm. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it being a villain that I'm not very familiar with, because then you have free reign to do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
You can make him as evil or as goofy or as weird, and you're not sitting there going, he's not right. I don't like how he is from the comic books. Yay! You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I don't.
Yeah.
You've just cut all those bullshit ties. There's a whole new guy. If he's not a new guy, then
yeah, you're stuck with that. You're stuck with that possible reaction. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like it just gets rid of the hassle. Do we know what the bad guys? Do you know what the bad guy's name in this is? Mr. Negative.
Yeah, Mr. Negative. That's it.
Let's see if he's actually somebody who's popular, or if he's seriously been. Mr. Negative is a fictional. Okay, so he's been around. He's not just some regular.
No, they didn't make him up. But
he's just not.
I don't ever remember seeing him in the cartoon show at all.
No, and that's the same thing. Just take it and just work with it.
Yeah,
just do what you want. I think that's so much. I think it's such a smarter idea.
I just don't know. Like, I don't know enough about him to know that I'm going to be thrilled with him as a villain, I guess. Is what
True, but that's one thing I've also really liked about the. Let's just throw it back to the Marvel Netflix shows, or even the Marvel TV, or not Marvel, the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
I mean, like, they brought villains in there. Like, I knew who Kilgrave was. I knew he was the Purple Man.
Yeah.
But I didn't know him. I knew him because he was in the 4th or 5th issue of Daredevil. That's how I knew who Purple Man was. But I didn't know his name was Kilgrave.
Yeah.
So his name's Zebediah Kilgrave. But I think in the show, I think they just call him like
Kevin
or something like that.
Kilgrave.
Yeah. Like, so I think that's a good idea. I think that's what they should do, especially because you heard a rumor about the Spider-Man game. I don't know if this is real. This might be just Adam kind of going.
No. This is entirely speculation that I read on the internet.
Where'd you read this from?
It was in one of the Sony blogs.
Okay.
There was a person who seemed to be involved with the production of the game that was throwing around some vague language.
Okay.
That spoke this to me. Spoke thusly.
To you personally?
No. Just when I read it, this is what this is the feeling that I got from it, and other people in the thread were also getting that kind of thread.
Okay.
That kind of feeling. It sounded like, vaguely, and again, this is speculation. This is a rumor. If it's right, give us a pat on the back. If it's not right, we told you so.
If we're right, we're right. If we're wrong, we were still right.
Yeah.
You're trying to cover your tracks on that one, huh?
Yeah. No. But so there's talks that this, depending on the success of this Spider-Man game, may lead into other Marvel characters getting their own games and building a sort of Marvel video game universe, not identical to, but similar to the way that they built the cinematic universe.
Interesting. So this would kind of be on this level of a big scale, like a tied-in game universe.
It's not tied to the films, though.
No. Obviously, we know that it's not. Yeah, they've already addressed this multiple times.
But yeah, I guess
it's a separate alternate.
They all take place in the same universe.
Same universe game. Interesting. Do you think that would play into difficulties of just people just saying, "Oh, well, you're just taking that game and putting another character in his place"?
It depends on the character.
They do a Daredevil game. Fuck yeah, I'm all about it.
But you got to think, the mechanics for Daredevil are different from any other character.
Yeah, but you could definitely play him in there very much like a Spider-Man. You could very easily do a Spider-Man
It could be
thing.
Similar, but and I guess I get what you're saying there. There's gonna be a lot of open world games with, hand-to-hand combat.
Do you wanna you know how excited I'd be for a Daredevil game?
Yeah, he has a whole shelf of Daredevil and a little bit of Silver Surfer.
Yeah. But who's that over there? Can you see how much I like Daredevil?
Yeah.
Who's that one over there? Who's the one farthest to the right over there? Can you tell? Should I get him for you too?
I can't see him that well.
Okay, hold on. This is how much I'm a Daredevil fan, okay, everybody? Don't crucify me for this, okay?
Oh my God, it's Ben Affleck. Oh my God, it's the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
They made a figure of the Ben Affleck Daredevil, and this was one of my favorite fucking toys growing up, was the Ben Affleck Daredevil, because this was the only way I could have a Daredevil figure, was this. And this was the only way I could have Daredevil go and fight Batman, because this was the only figure I had. Yes, I have a Ben Affleck Daredevil action figure. So, I think even this, I don't even think Danko would want this figure. And Danko likes like anything that has to do with Kevin Smith or anything. So Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith obviously have a history together, and he loves action figures, and I don't even think he would want a Daredevil Ben Affleck figure. But I do. So a Daredevil.
But yeah. Daredevil game would be fucking awesome.
They were planning it for an N64 release. Remember they were doing an N64 one?
Then shift to PS1 and
and then it just went through hell.
Yeah, development hell, and then it just never came out.
I'd be fine with if they did this this expanded universe game thing. It's just how it's going to be handled.
For the game universe, I see what you're saying, and I think the way to alleviate that is maybe do a game every 2 years. Not do a game every year.
Oh yeah, you can't
try to do completely different characters. Like,
yeah, I just remember like all those games back in the day. They would constantly. I want to just get Daredevil somewhere. I'll just stick him on top of the Megazord there. He's gonna fucking fall. All right. Well, you remember
like on the microphone after we're done.
Yeah. Well, you remember whenever they were coming out with games like the Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction, great game, but it was very much like Spider-Man 2, there was an open world game, you do the same missions over and over again. I mean, they like a lot of people would say, "What they were different." No, they weren't much. If Hulk was swinging instead of jumping, it would be the same game. I love both of those games, and they were pumping out games like that all the time. Yeah, I see what you're saying,
but they also a lot of those games all came out in the same year.
Yeah,
a lot of those games.
Well, like I wouldn't mind if they did like. You know how they had this Spider-Man game, and the Hulk game, and the X-Men Legends games, which those are incredible games, by the way.
Let me put it to you this way. Superman Shadow of Apocalypse and Superman Returns on the Xbox 360 are the exact same game. It's literally just a skin.
Yeah, I know. And I actually, for the only thing, I actually like the Superman Returns game.
The flight mechanic wasn't bad.
That's why I liked it. I thought the flight mechanic they did in the Superman Returns game was like, man, I actually feel like I am fucking Superman in this game.
Yeah.
It's just that the combat had a lot to be desired, and that the size
of combat almost didn't exist.
Yeah, and then the size of the game was relatively small. Like Metropolis was the size of this room that we're in. So, I mean, when you're that fast of a character, the world seems so small.
Yeah.
Like if you stuck that Superman and how fast he goes in like GTA.
Do like a Flash game or a Quicksilver game, no, that would never happen.
No, yeah, I just don't think it would work. I just don't see the mechanics.
Well, at least not as an open world game. Maybe as a linear game.
Maybe, but
you run through environments, but
like a Sonic. Yeah. Do Sonic and the Secret Rings, but with the Flash. Do that and make it not terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I'm hey, cool with them if they can incorporate this. I'm all fine with this. It sounds like a cool endeavor that they should definitely try to go on to.
Yeah.
All right, Adam. Going on to our next topic, which is that Ready Player One's author Ernest Cline also has another novel that was a New York Times bestseller called Armada, which is possibly getting a film adaptation because while Ready Player One, which was not it's not a financial juggernaut. It's definitely making profit.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's making some money. And everybody who goes and sees it, I don't want to say everybody, but for the most part, most people who see it is like, this is definitely one of the best movies of the year so far.
Yeah.
Didn't Nathan, who was on the show, didn't he comment that he's like, that's easily one of the best movies he's seen this year? So, like, people really like it, and so why not? I mean, why not pump out another one of his novels? Now,
what's the subject matter of this novel? Because I haven't read it.
Oh, you ready to hear what the subject of this is? Armada revolves around a young man who spends much of his life lost in playing video games. This time, the hero discovers that his favorite online game is actually a simulator intended to prepare players to defend the Earth against an alien invasion. Does that sound a little familiar?
That sounds like Last Starfighter.
Because it pretty much is the Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
It is. Holy crap. Like, that is almost verbatim the Last Starfighter. Even the article that I'm reading, this headline says, the storyline, as an 80s movie fan already knows, is very similar to the 1984 film The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because they're working on a Last Starfighter reboot. They're doing a Last Starfighter reboot. The guy, one of the co-creators...
Maybe this is it.
No, but one of the co-creators of Rogue One has just shared artwork saying, like, okay, probably shouldn't show you this, but this is early and here's a little something. I've been tinkering with somebody. If you recognize the ships, thank you for all the amazing artwork. And it's showing images, and it's, yeah, they're the Last Starfighter ships. Like, they're working on a reboot, and I'm wondering if this Armada and Last Starfighter reboot, because they could come out around the same time. Is this going to be another one of those situations where they're like, oh, here's another Jungle Book movie, and like, here's a Jungle Book movie coming out like 6 months later. Here's Hercules, and here's another Hercules movie coming out 6 months later. Here's Deep Impact. Here comes Armageddon 6 months later. Yeah. Here's Snow White 6 months later. Snow White and the Huntsman. You know,
wasn't there 2 movies about Norse mythology that came out, or not Norse, Greek mythology or some shit that came out recently? A couple years ago.
I think you might be thinking of the Hercules one. Or are you thinking?
It was like wasn't that like a Clash of the Titans remake or something?
There was a Clash of the Titans remake, but then they did another one called like God in Egypt, but that was different. That was not even close in the same time period.
But it's a similar movie.
Oh no, the Gods of Egypt is a complete, like, it's nothing like Clash of Titans. They played it off like it was, but it wasn't. But I'm wondering if this is gonna be the situation. So here's a question to you, Adam.
I mean, this is a fairly common phenomenon.
Yeah, this happens all the time. This isn't a rare thing to happen.
Ants and Bugs Life.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like 2
Bugs Life all the way?
Isn't there like a something that's similar to Bee Movie? That came out around the same time?
Bee Movie, and yes, there was, but I can't remember what that might have been. Bee Movie and something else. Ooh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I believe there was something that was very similar to Bee Movie also coming out. But here's what I want to ask you, Adam. Which one would, if you had to pick, based off, you liked the adaptation of Ready Player One, if you had to pick for Armada or Last Starfighter reboot, which one would you be more interested in?
I don't want to make that decision because they fuck up reboots a lot.
They do fuck up reboots, but there have been a couple occasions where they haven't always fucked it up. Are you a fan of the original Last Starfighter? I'm a big fan of the original one, so... I
mean, it's okay. It's not...
I had that on VHS with, like, Never Ending Story, so...
Yeah, see, I did...
I was a big fan of that. And, like, I had a lot of 80s movies growing up in the 90s. I had a lot of 80s movies on VHS. So, Last Starfighter was one I watched. That and Flight of the Navigator. Did you ever watch Flight of the Navigator?
No.
Ooh. You probably... It's tough to go back and watch that.
You were watching that shit, and I was, like, ruining the tape to Blank Check, and... Because that was the fucking greatest movie ever. I remember Blank Check, how badly I wanted that to work, and I'm like, no, it would never work. That and Richie Rich. Did you watch Richie Rich? Yeah.
Where
Casper.
Oh, yeah, Casper was dope.
Live action Casper was
I
dope.
love the live action Casper. I still really like that one.
There's a lot of those films that I have a lot of nostalgia for that if they brought them back, I don't know if I'd go see them.
Last Starfighter, to me, doesn't need... I think Last Starfighter is a goofy enough concept that it doesn't need to be tied down to the 80s to work. And so it can separate itself from itself. Yeah. If that makes any sense. I think that The Last Starfighter is very prime for a reboot. Like, you could do really nice, cool graphics. You could make it cheesy. It's like if you tried to, like, redoing Tron would not work, rebooting-wise. I mean, the sequel didn't even really work, although I like the sequel. But, like, I think that you can separate yourself from The Last Starfighter and make it more even closer now. it seems that Armada would be almost just like a remake of Last Starfighter. While I believe this Last Starfighter reboot would be almost more separated from itself than Armada. Yeah. I know I'm like, it sounds really weird what I'm saying, but I think that makes sense to me.
That these two movies that are in the works are more similar than the source material that they might be based off of.
Yeah. It's funny because I think that I've never read Armada. I'll probably check out Armada because I did enjoy the book Ready Player One, so I might audiobook that next month once I'm finished with Lords of the Sith. That's my, I think I'm on my 5th Star Wars book now that I've done, so...
Fucking nerd.
They're really entertaining. They put so much production value in it. It's not just some guy going like, and Darth Vader spoke like... Darth Vader spoke as you wish, my master. Like, they actually say, and Darth Vader spoke, and then they, like, switch to Darth Vader style voice and say, as you wish, my master. They put a lot of work into them, so...
Yeah.
Fuck you, buddy! So, yeah, but I thought this was kind of interesting, and I think that with Ready Player One's success, Armada's... I mean, they're already talking about it happening, but I was like, man, it sounds just like The Last Starfighter. And they're working on a Last Starfighter reboot, so... I thought that was kind of odd. Okay, Adam, our last topic of the day is kind of a smaller one, but I thought it would be kind of interesting for us to talk about.
Yeah.
Is that Millennium Films is making another push to try to bring a Red Sonja movie to the big screen. And this comes after a decade of trying to remake it already. I don't know if you remember, but Robert Rodriguez was originally...
try and remake this.
He tried remaking it, and he was set to direct, and his then girlfriend Rose McGowan was supposed to be Red Sonja, which I thought was like really cool. They released this poster, and it looked super cool at the time. I'll just kind of like show it. This was the poster that they were kind of like showing. They released it at like Comic-Con, so like it looked really cool. And Robert Rodriguez, I thought, would be a really cool director to do that. And it kind of just, I think their relationship fell apart. I think that kind of put an ixnay on it. I think he was trying to go for a harder rating on it, and they just didn't want to do it. I'm a real big fan of Red Sonja. I think Red Sonja is a great character, a great like Conan the Barbarian style comic book. And I was a big fan of the Bridget Nielsen one. I know a lot of people think it's really stupid, but I had a real good time with that one. I just kind of always... Even though they don't actually say that they're related, I just always thought that Arnold in there was Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe he is. I could be wrong. I don't, because there have been crossovers with Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja in the comic books. Now, so let me, so they're, who are they got on for it? They have a Ashley Miller, who was one of the co-writers of X-Men First Class, and that's who they have to Helmet, and she said,
you were going to say Pen.
Yeah. It's an exciting opportunity to faithfully adapt the amazing Hyborian world Robert E. Howard created and inject it with Sonja's intelligence, ferocity, and fearless humanity. I want people to love Sonja the way I love her and walk out of the theater understanding why she's so popular and enduring. Sonja is an icon. Yes, Sonja is an icon, but has definitely fallen to the wayside of just other popular characters. And I'm going to honestly say, I think it's a big part of her look. Her look is not the most, let's see.
Modest?
Modest is the best word to put that.
Yeah.
And I loved, like, okay, I was younger, so I really liked Sonja. Like, she was, holy shit, this is great. But the violence and she was such a strong character. I mean, she was like a comic book version of Xena. If Xena the Princess Warrior was not based off of Sonja, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
So they don't have anybody obviously cast, but a lot of people saying that the studio wants this because of how successful Wonder Woman was, and that you can do female-led films and make them good and make them, exciting and action-filled. And that was what I was thinking. I was like, okay, I get their idea. Red Sonja, why not? you got to tone that costume down then. And that costume's very, synonymous with her.
Yeah.
That she pretty much wears no costume. And it was like, you know what? They did it with Tomb Raider. They brought Tomb Raider back and they made her less sexified. So yeah, you can bring back your Red Sonja and make it a hard... I guess you don't need to make it R-rated, but it would fit, I think, the world a lot better if you did.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking barbarian wasteland.
Yeah. I mean, Red Sonja is just... The artwork on Red Sonja is cool, and the world, exactly what she said, the world that is created in there is super cool. And I think it's prime for a redone. But yeah, I think its only concern is, it's an easy fix, but just you're gonna need to fix the costume. If you're sitting here trying to go for the people who are all about Wonder Woman's costume, you got to make a little bit. Now, the original movie didn't have a super sexified costume to the point that it was like where it is now. But, oh God, one of these pictures shows Megan Fox as Red Sonja. Get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to think, like, normally a good way to look at casting would be to just say, get the best actor or best actress for the role. But I'm trying to think of, like, who would be cool as a Red Sonja. Trying to think. I mean... I know it kind of seemed she's not really an actress, but I mean, you could do someone like a Ronda Rousey, maybe. Maybe the movie doesn't require something like too in-depth acting-wise, but I mean, it is your main character. But someone like Ronda Rousey would be like believable. I just want someone who's physical because okay, Wonder Woman gets a pass because Wonder Woman is an Amazonian who was like birthed out of dirt. Like, she's mystical. Red Sonja, at least from whenever I interpreted it, was just a really badass bitch.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of hoping. That I need someone... I can buy that Gal Gadot could flick me with her finger and bust my skull into pieces in Wonder Woman because she's an Amazonian. She is technically a god among humans. Mm-hmm. Red Sonja is not. She is a badass chick who fucks people up. So I'm trying to think of who could be like really good with this. I really kind of think who would be a really good choice would be Amber Heard. I'd really like Amber Heard. Do you know who Amber Heard is?
No.
She was... I'm trying to think if there's a movie that you would recognize her. She's very small, but, I mean, you could build her up. But she's been in some action films, and I could totally see her being, like, a Red Sonja. Maybe.
I don't know, dude. I just need to see some muscles.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta tone her up. But I think Amber Heard is a really good actress. She's going to be playing Aquaman's wife in the new Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
And she's very small, but I could totally buy her.
Well,
this is her in her costume. Maybe it's the red hair that throws me into like maybe I could buy the Red Sonja, but
small compared to Jason Momoa? Or...
No, I mean when she's up there, I've only seen her in like movies like that. I mean, where she's up against with Jason Momoa.
You also got to realize that sometimes they put dudes, like they stand dudes on top of stuff to make them tall.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, yeah, I'm trying to think, like...
They don't usually do that with female characters, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, if you did a Red Sonja, like this is like modern interpretation. So, yeah,
but I knew that she was, like, what the costume was like. I mean, they could tone that down a little bit and still leave it be, thematic.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to because you can't sit there and say like female power and then have the girl wearing pretty much goddamn
a G-string
chainmail. Yeah, a chainmail G cup. It just does not work. I do not believe. So I think that it's a really good idea. I think you should definitely really look into it because I'd support the shit out of a Red Sonja film, a remade one. Get the director of Dread, get him for that reboot. That would be great. Get the director of Dread, Amber Heard, and make the Red Sonja reboot. Boom! You've got 5 tickets purchased from me right now. But you have to say what you have to do exactly what I said. Can't get one and not the other, and need both.
So, I guess my problem with doing a film like this isn't any of the problems that you mentioned.
Yes.
There's a certain color palette that I would expect from a film like this.
Red?
No, not just red. Like, I think modern film technology would... Let me put it this way. If you went and watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan films...
Yes.
You'd see that the colors were not only not... They were like earth tones and everything, but they were very muted.
Okay.
The colors in the film are muted except for stylistic choices like, blood and shit like that.
Okay.
I don't feel like all this fucking 4K, like, super colorful shit that we're seeing in theaters works well with this subject matter.
Huh, that's an interesting way to put it. I mean, so you're just thinking that you would want a more muted earth tone style with this Red Sonja and not, like, what kind of the modern interpretation comics are kind of displaying?
Yeah, because like if you look at all the Avengers films or basically any comic book film, the DC, Marvel, anything, they're very colorful. There's a lot of colors going on.
Not so much the Marvel, not so much the DC.
Well, I can't help you there. But I mean, they still have color in them, and they look like modern film productions. Like the colors do stand out a little bit.
Well, the way you're making it seem is like you want them to film with cameras from the 80s. They're not doing that, man.
I mean,
is there a modern, like,
broke.
could you do something like Dread? Like, do you know Dread, right? You've seen that movie, right?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
Wow, you haven't seen Dread?
Not the new one, no.
Oh, man,
I've heard it was fantastic.
You should watch that.
It was fantastic.
You should watch that. That's kind of, I think, do you like how the raid was kind of filmed? It's very much the...
I never saw the raid either.
Oh, my God, man. What are you doing with your life?
Please. Other shit.
Oh, man, you really should watch Dread. Dread is so good. Carl Urban is so good in that movie. And it's visually cool. And the colors are kind of muted and darker, like I guess how you like. I'm not so much really caring about if they do a Red Sonja, whether or not they don't mute the... You just want it to look like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, in terms of, I guess...
You want to make it look like I went outside
really,
and filmed
even
it.
the fucking film quality, dude. I think you're right. I think I just want it filmed with the camera from the 1980s.
Yeah, that seems to be what it's like with you. I mean, like, what about, like, the color palettes in, like, when in Ready Player One, whenever they're, like, not in the game? I mean, that's kind of, like, dirty, regular.
No, there was still way too much color, dude.
Yeah, I think that's your issue. I think you just want 80s cameras back. You're like the Quentin Tarantino of colors. You just want old muted colors back.
Well, like in Ready Player One, it works. Like it works with the film, and it looks good. It looks great. But like I think with that kind of film, it doesn't work. Are you see what I'm saying? Like it doesn't.
I get what you're saying. I just think it's kind of
nostalgia. I don't know what it is, but I want
so.
Those...
I mean, I think it's like you want all of your films to look like the movie Labyrinth or like Dark Crystal, not like where it's all dark and stuff.
No. This is not applied to all films. I think just to this film or this subject matter, I think it applies to.
Where it's like dark and gritty?
Yeah.
See, I was kind of thinking that
if you were going to do a violent movie piece, okay, that had a dark and gritty like theme and everything, but it wasn't fucking barbarians, I wouldn't be pushing for this.
Yeah, you just want it with barbarians. And
yeah,
like
I think it works with the subject matter very well.
You know who'd be another really good director I think could work with this movie? George Miller.
Yeah.
George Miller doing a barbarian style thing would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
He probably could do some interesting shit with it. The armor and all that.
Yeah.
Be really up his wheelhouse. Well, hey, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't think you're gonna get that. I just think when you're shooting stuff on digital,
yeah,
it's just the colors pop more. I mean, that's just how the cameras are built. And I think back then the cameras just were not built to handle all the colors, so they look like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You should maybe check out...
I'm glad you understand what I'm saying.
I kind of do.
I was having trouble explaining it.
You should it's almost like you almost need to put like a filter. You almost need to shoot the film as if you're shooting through like a screen door, like where it has like a darker tone to it, like you're shooting it through a filter or something like that. I think that's what you're kind of saying. I get what you're saying. It's just not probably going to happen. I think that you should also really check out Dread. That might be what you're talking about. There might be points where there's too much light, but you might like the dark and gritty tones and colors.
I'm not even saying the dark. I'm just saying like just like completely devoid of color, like the Conan movies.
Yeah, I think I think you just want it on cameras that just don't exist anymore. Yeah. All right, Adam, we're going to be closing out the show. Where can people find us?
Right here.
Thanks.
No. You can find us at www.facebook.com/GTAS podcast or www.twitter.com/GTAS podcast. And we can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play.
Yeah.
I think all you have to do is search.
I think it's under Guys Talking About Shit, but under this video has all the links to whatever.
There you go. Bobby makes it real for you.
I make it really easy and real for you. So right in the show descriptions, you should be able to find a link to the audio
all the time
podcast
tags
of
are
your
and everything.
choice. Well, yeah, the time tags are in there, but if you're watching a video separate, it's still at the bottom of every one of our videos is the links to all of our audio-only podcasts where you can listen to on your phone and at work. Fuck work. Just listen to the Guys Talking About Shit podcast. So, Adam, so real quick, we'll go into this. So, unfortunately, guys, I posted a Twitter and a Facebook comment about this.
It was an announcement.
It was an announcement. I tried all week to get the full video up of GTAS 19.
Yeah.
But there was a glitch apparently in the video. I fixed it actually today before we started filming this, and I figured it out. The audio podcast has always been up. It's been up since Monday.
Yeah.
But I could not get a video full podcast or segment and cut up videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus primarily on this one. So you'll probably see GTAS 20 go up
before 19
because I want to get this one out as soon as possible, and then I'll work on 19, and then I'll cut those segmented videos up. So just wanted to apologize for that. It's just a technical hiccup. I could not figure out why I was able to get the audio but not able to get the video. It's because there was some sort of glitch in the audio in the video. So, but all right, is there anything else, Adam, you want to add?
Fuck Agipie.
Yeah, fuck Agipie.
We haven't said that in a while.
Yeah, that's your moniker now. But all right, everybody, I'm your host, Bob Rusin, and my co-host,
Adam Miller.
Yeah, you're supposed to say your name. Get used to it, man. Get with the program. So we'll do it again. You ready? We're going to try it again, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So once again, for all those listening, I'm Bob Rusin.
I'm Adam Miller.
Thank you for listening. Farewell.